Okay, on this video, I'm going to show you how to use the quadratic formula in order to solve these quadratic equations. In the past, we've been factoring, but the formula is something that you can also use, and it will work even if the quadratic will not factor. Okay, so we're going to solve this equation, but first I'm going to write the whole formula on the back of this paper. So when you have an equation that is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, then the x value is equal to negative b. Think of this as the opposite of b, because b could be negative, and so negative b will be positive. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. So that is your formula. Write that down in your notes. We're going to use that a lot, okay? So if we're going to work this problem with that, then we have to first make sure it's set equal to 0. Notice this is set equal to 0. So it is. So now we're ready to decide what our a, b, and c are. So in this equation, a is 3, b is also 3, and c is negative 90. Make sure if there's a minus in the problem, you put a negative in your value for your letter. Now we're ready to use the formula. So x is equal to negative b, so the opposite of b is negative 3. b is 3, so you change the sign, negative 3. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. So I would just normally write 9, but for the purposes of this, I'm going to write 3 squared to show you where it comes from. But I usually just square that in my head and put that number there. So b squared minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is negative 90, all divided by, so it doesn't just start here, you have to go back to the negative 3, all over 2 times a, which is 3. Then you're ready to evaluate this. So the negative 3 stays. There's nothing you can do with it to begin with. And you figure out what this is. So for that, most of you are going to take your calculator, and you can just type this all in, okay? I would just type 9 because I would do the 3 squared on my head, but you don't need to. 3 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 90. So I hit the times sign, and I get 1,089. So this is the square root of 1,089. You also can do the parentheses. You can do 3 squared minus 4 parentheses 3 parentheses negative 90, so that it looks exactly like how I write it in the formula. Okay, so you hit equals and you get 1,089. So that's what your square root is, divided by 2 times 3, which is 6. So then you evaluate this 1,089. We want the square root of it, and so on my calculator, I do the square root of that, and you get 33. So this is 33. So x is negative 3 plus or minus 33 divided by 6. At this point, we get 2 answers, okay? Because we have a plus and a minus. So negative 3 plus 33 is positive 30, and then we still have to divide by 6, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. Negative 3 minus 33 is negative 36, divided by 6 is negative 6. So those are our 2 answers. If we would have factored this, we would have got factors of x minus 5 and x plus 6, because our answer turned out to be x equals 5 and x equals negative 6. So we could have factored it and got the same place, but if the numbers are large and you don't want to factor it, then you can do the quadratic formula and you get the same answer.